Thank you, Teo. Yes, we're off to Dubai. From Melbourne to Dubai and Palestine, Australia. Players in the tunnel just about to walk out for this crucial match, given what happened to the Socceroos on Sunday in the tournament opener. They take on Palestine, ranked 99 in the world. Robbie Slater, Mark Bosnich and Bruce Gite here this evening.
Evening, Adam.
Evening, gents.
Boys.
Three changes, in fact, for the Socceroos. One expected. Josh Riston out, Ryan Grant in, Irvine and Economides in for Luongo and Cruz. What do we make of those changes?
Well, certainly in the midfield, it's more mobility. Someone who can score goals from runs late into the box. That's what Jackson Irvine's good at. Good in the air as well. We probably did lack an aerial threat in that first game in open play in the front third. Not set pieces, of course, because the bigger boys come up, although we didn't have that many big boys. But look, it's about the players who were selected to put in a shift tonight and to fight. I think that's the one thing we want them to do, to really fight.
What are you expecting, Mark?
Well, a much improved performance from the other night, and I think Robbie's just hit the nail on the head. Look, it doesn't matter how much more talented you are than the other team, Bruce. If you don't show you've got the same will and the same fight in that first 20 minutes, they can get on top of you.
That's exactly right. Palestine got a lot to play for, but look, we're looking for the Socceroos to bounce back. I mean, I'm personally looking forward to watch Economides play. Yeah. Fantastic to see him come in. I thought he did well when he came on against Jordan in the last game. So, look, definitely the coach and the whole nation looking forward to a better performance tonight.
Just to set the scene, if we can't finish top of the group given the result with Jordan yesterday, we can finish second, of course, with 2 wins. Jordan beat Syria 2-0 yesterday, and Syria, in all sorts of other reports about Bert Stunger, their manager, getting the sack. That's not important right now as the flags come out, which mean the players are not too far away. Jamie McLaren, you're surprised that he's stayed in the starting lineup, boss?
Yes, I am a little bit, considering his performance the other night. But look, it's another one where he's got to perform. So if he doesn't perform in that first 45 minutes to an hour, I think you'll see a change there. But he's got an opportunity here tonight, and a lot of people have made the point that he's not good in tight areas. Well, he's got an opportunity to show that. He should be. Low centre of gravity, very, very quick along the ground, so he should be.
Tip, gents?
Australia to win.
Australia to win.
Australia to win, Adam?
Unanimous. Australia to win. So there's Tom Rogic. He does play with a little broken metatarsal in his hand, protected, of course. It was okayed by officials yesterday. Beautiful scene once again in the Middle East. No clouds, no shock in Dubai for a big crowd. Palestine, they've brought some fans. Here we go. There's the captain, Mark Milligan. We're almost set for the anthems. On the other side of the anthems, Brenton Speed and Andy Harper to take you through the first half.
Ladies and gentlemen, please raise for the playing of the national anthem of Palestine.
أصحاب السمو، أصحاب السعادة، السيدات والسادة، من فضلكم استعدوا لسماع النشيد الوطني لفلسطين.
And now, the national anthem of Australia.
والآن النشيد الوطني لاستراليا.
Well, what a crucial game this is for both countries. Jordan atop the group with 2 wins already, 6 points out of 6. And whoever wins today's contest will go a long way to securing a top 2 berth along with Jordan from Group B. There are changes for both teams. 4 for Palestine. 1 was forced by the suspension of Mohamed Salah, who was shown a red card. It appears Noram Bouena will slot in for him. The other inclusions are Shadi Shaban, Nazmi Al-Badawi and Mahmoud Wadi, who should play up front in the number 20 jersey. He's replaced Yashir Islame. They are coached by that man, Noureddin Wald Ali, 46-year-old Algerian who took over in April. Our referee this evening, Valentin Kovalenko, the 43-year-old from Uzbekistan, vastly experienced on the international stage, has taken control of games involving both of these nations in the past. So Australia, there are 3 changes to their 11 after that first up loss to Jordan, with Ryan Grant replacing the injured Josh Risdon at right back. Jackson Irvine earns just his 3rd start in the last 12 games in place of Massimo Luongo in midfield, while there may be a changing of the guard on the left wing with Robbie Cruz out and Chris Economides in. Jamie McLaren keeps his spot up front, preferred to Gianu, who's amongst the substitutes, as is Andrew Naboot. Not quite fit enough to start, but he could be good for a cameo off the bench, while Yashir Islame is the chief attacking option off Palestine's bench. This man has made Palestine very hard to break down. Some good results of late. Draws against China, Iran, and then Syria first up. Well, all the pressure is on this man, the 55-year-old Australian Graham Arnold, who enjoyed great success with Sydney FC in the Australian A-League to earn the call-up to the national team role again. This man was a colossus first up in that draw against Syria. Abdullah Al-Badari, the captain of the team, earning his 91st cap today. He's 34 years of age, but shows no sign of slowing down. Massive occasion for that man as well. Jamie McLaren still looking for his first goal for the national team, making his 10th appearance here this afternoon.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It is Palestine kicking things off. 99 in the FIFA rankings. Australia 58 spots above them. But Palestine have a point to their name after that heroic first up draw against Syria. Australia looking to rebound from that first up loss. Andy Harper.
Certainly, Brenton, and the early noise, not unexpectedly, is from the Palestine fans. They're in good numbers here. Just a thin, at this point at least, contingent of Australian supporters. And in this beautifully presented stadium, there's a good atmosphere. A lot of expectation. Perhaps, dare I say, Brenton, greater expectation than one might have imagined when the draw first came out. And that's what match day 1 fixtures will do. Palestine with a stirring draw. And Australia beaten fair and square by the very impressive Jordan,
who really did frank that result last night with that victory over Syria. So they top the group with 6 points out of 6. Who can respond today? Both teams were able to watch that game last night as they prepared for this encounter. You can see the breeze is a bit of a factor here in Dubai. That one really holding up the clearance from Hamada.
Brilliant early pressure from Palestine. Abdullah Jaber, rusted on left fullback for the Palestine national team. Very quick to pressurise. Firstly Mabil, then Jackson Irvine.
Here's Bajic, keeping his spot ahead of Alex Gersbach. There are some in the chorus who think Gersbach should come into the team as a more attacking option. Here's Economides, who has replaced Cruz on that left-hand side after an impressive cameo off the bench, which nearly resulted in an equaliser for Australia in that opening game. Somehow that ball is staying in, and it's still in. Clever ball down the line, and Palestine playing their way out of defence. Broken up by Mark Milligan, the captain of Australia. Goes into the top 10 all-time for appearances for Australia here this afternoon, alongside Tony Vidmar with his 76th cap. Economides, chance! And McLaren has an air swing in the middle. Well, he's been waiting for his first shot on target as a Socceroo, and indeed his first goal. And he couldn't have asked for a much better chance than that in the opening 3 minutes. Teed up by Economides, but McLaren couldn't apply the finishing touch. Economides again, and a hasty clearance this time from Darwish. Irvine, the run being made by Grant, that's the target. And hooked clear on the edge of his own area by Shadi Shaban, one of the inclusions today for Palestine. Now Rogic playing with that specially approved splint. He's got a broken bone in his left hand. Will require surgery at some stage, but he'll play on for Australia in this tournament. The Celtic superstar. Degenek. Jackson Irvine. Here's Trent Sainsbury. Completed 118 passes in that group opener, while his opponents combined, Jordan, completed 96 passes. That was one of the remarkable stats from the opening game for Australia. Behind where it counted, though, on the scoreboard, as Degenek looks for an aggressive pass on the diagonal. Too much on it for Ryan Grant.
Oh, not a bad option from Degenek. Ryan Grant has already made 2, possibly 3 of those diagonal runs in behind the fullback. Here's the chance, presented beautifully. Economides picking up where he left off the bench against Jordan. And there's no way to dress that up. It's a horrible miss from a player desperate to break his international duck.
Wound up blocking his own shot. 1 goal in 500 minutes with Hibernian in Scotland this season. The former A-League Golden Boot winner with the Brisbane Roar, 20 goals in the 16-17 season, but he struggled to take that goal-scoring form overseas, or indeed bring it to the national team. Big chance for him here this afternoon. Bajic picked out, and the wrestle, they're coming together, and the free kick goes against Bajic.
Well, beautiful ball from Milligan. I mean, it was just flighted perfectly. Bajic had the jump. He had the jump on Zoria. His technique let him down. A good touch, then he's away and on goal. The lead-up, good from Australia until the money moment. And Aziz Bajic couldn't control the ball. Good recovery run by Zoria.
Wadi trying to flick that one on, the new striker up front today, nicknamed the Tower. Known for his aerial expertise, and Matty Ryan will be keeping an eye on him. Australia conceded that goal against Jordan from a set piece in the opening group game. Narambuena, number 21. There's 4 Chilean-born players in this Palestine squad, along with Zoria, the number 8, on the ball here, in amongst 4 yellow shirts. Tried to squeeze one down the line towards Wadi. Sliding in aggressively was first Irvine, and the referee letting both of those challenges go, and it opens up for Abdullah Jabbar, and it's cut out. The shot come cross by Trent Sainsbury.
Well, the shot was never going to really be dangerous, apart from a miracle, but it nearly turned into a very dangerous pass. Sainsbury clearing Australia's defence, just out forward in midfield. Mahmoud Wadi sliding in on Awemabil completely legally, and the advantage chipped away of Palestine.
And here is The striker in the middle, Mahmoud Wadi, and the block came in. It was an important one from Degenek. They're asking for a corner. They don't get it. Australia just opened up from the throw-in situation where you can't be offside, and they clocked off there. And you were nearly opened up.
A nervous start from Australia.
No way through for that ball. Cut out by Degenek. Chance for Mobile to stretch the legs, but it ran away from him, and Abdullah Jabir just stepped up at the right time. He made an incredible goal line clearance early in the game against Syria to deny Kribin. How different the game might have been if he hadn't hung out the boot so effectively to stop that goal-bound effort. Crowd getting right into this contest. Irvine and Milligan. They'll be asked to probe. Interestingly, after that first game, Vitel Borkelmans, the coach of Jordan, said Australia's midfielders, Luongo and Milligan, on that occasion were very predictable. Andy.
It wasn't just those two, but he said, you're quite right, Brenton. The patterns were very consistent and therefore more easily read and diffused.
Free kick going against Mahmoud Wadi on that occasion, earning his 7th cap. It was a chance for him as well to open his international account a moment ago when Degenek got the block in.
It's the foul, minimal contact, but enough in the eyes of the referee. Which again gets us to the comparison of what might Palestine do in replicating the Jordan success from the other night. And as we'll watch this game unfold, the big question is not how well they'll go individually, not whether they'll amass their defence and then spring into counter-attack. That's all expected. We need to find who from Palestine is going to play the Khalil Bani Atea role that Jordan, he did for Jordan so well against Australia and Syria last night. Just mind-blowing. This patrolling in midfield, the spoiler in midfield, the guy who's going to nick on the blind side of a Milligan or an Irvine and pinch that pass and start a counter-attack.
Right now they're setting up with a back 5 Palestine, which becomes a back 6 at times, with Aziz Bayic so advanced and taking Zaria with him. Mark Milligan was preaching patience heading into this game. And Trent Sainsbury, he's had enough taking on the strike from more than 30 metres away. Plenty of bodies in the road. But the pattern may well be being set right now as we approach that 10-minute mark. Rogic peeling off into a wide area. Ryan Grant with the width and the cross and the chance. Nearly for Economides at the back post. A good body put on him in the end by Norambuena. That ball staying in despite the protest from the Palestinian coach. Ryan Grant again the target, but too much on that ball from Irvine.
Well, that's good possession from Australia. Set that up nicely. Milligan's really come into the game. There would have been a question mark about the offside of Jamie McLaren. But we haven't got VAR at this point, not till the quarterfinals. And Economides at full stretch made a good impression, but it was well marshalled away by Palestine.
Chris Economides in goal-scoring form in Australia with the Perth Glory. 6 goals in his past 9 games, 7 in his last 10 for club and country. Earning a free kick for his team. Here's that man again.
Well, I'd say given a free kick, he didn't earn that. That was a giveaway, not because of anything Jackson Irvine did wrong. Thought that was a fair challenge to big men going for the ball.
Irvine has the assignment on Wadi again here. The flick on, and that could easily have broken the way of the captain, Al Badari. Safely through to Matty Ryan instead. Economides blocked off, and there's a foul committed by Norambuena. Australia will have the free kick on halfway.
And a good moment for Palestine. The flick on didn't trouble Matt Ryan, but another little piece either side. Would have been a different story.
Al-Badari has a wonderful goal-scoring record for a centre-half, scored 15 international goals. Here's Bajic, somehow kept that in with the first touch, and he'll get a corner out of it. I think he was surprised by his own control.
Well, the tactics good from the Socceroos, those diagonal balls. The key is the height and width of both fullbacks for Australia, and the diagonal run with incredible purpose. This was a remarkable bring down. It's not what we're seeing here. It's the touch from Mahmoud Wadi. Caught the eye already.
So Economides to deliver the in-swinger. They make their move in the middle. Jackson Irvine among the targets. Well defended by Palestine at the near post. Economides trying the tricky turn, but Zaria was ready for that one. Another corner earned by Australia.
Excellent contest. And Australia really full of intent, but up against a very, very willing opponent. Palestine defending really strongly, being tested seriously here.
They created the 2-on-1 though. Economides floats one to the back post. Mobile opening up the angle, and there were bodies in the road again. That time it was Sayam helping out defensively, the left winger. And listen to the roar from the Palestine fans as they see off another threatening situation.
Indeed, and again, Milligan, so impressive these early moments, the Australian captain. His passing is way back. I thought it was missing against Jordan. Indeed, Milligan caught in possession that led to the corner for the Jordan goal, but he's been much sharper to start this. Palestine, stretched as they've been, unbreached yet.
Well, here's another free kick given against Irvine for the arms being raised as he challenges Mahmoud Wadi. And Graham Arnold revealed pre-game that's why Irvine, part of the reason he was brought into the team for these aerial duels. And the referee doesn't like the way he goes about it.
Well, this is going to set a pattern now, because guess whose name is marked, even though he hasn't been booked. And now Jordan Jackson Irvine has this doubt in his mind. What's going to be a legal jump for the ball and what's not?
And often the protest in that situation is, well, I can't jump with my arms by my side.
I can't leave them on the ground either.
Sayam delivers. And the header won by Al-Badari. Chance now on the turn, and there's another air swing. This time by Al-Badawi, trying to make something happen on the edge of the area. But they are looking a threat from set pieces. They're tall players, Al-Badari and Mahmoud Wadi, causing Australia some issues. Now Darwish advancing. And that's a poor pass, looking for Sayam out on the wing.
Well, conversely, Mark Milligan's game's improved since game one. I don't think Darwish has. He was outstanding in the centre of midfield for Palestine. Had the most possessions in his team with the highest completion rate. That match against Syria hasn't been as effective or efficient here so far tonight or this afternoon.
All the way back to Hamada, who was the backup goalkeeper at the 2015 Asian Cup, but become very much the #1 in the years gone by. He's closing in on 50 caps now. Matt Ryan passed that mark in recent months. Graham Arnold really is on the edge of his technical area, barking out some instructions right now, trying to get messages across to Rogic and company. Here is Rogic finding a little bit of space. Sainsbury, so many passes come from him, as we mentioned earlier. Here is Milligan. Now Rogic has a bit more space. Again, conservative. And Milligan had to fight for control.
And that's where you're grateful Khalil Baniatea isn't playing Jordan's midfielder, because they were exactly the situations that he was succeeding in those duels, causing Australia enormous trouble, as he did Syria last night.
The dominance of possession, but right now they're probing and struggling to open up any angles for meaningful attacks. Australia. Now one might come as Rogic gets rid of one defender. Whips one in. McLaren! Jamie McLaren has his first international goal. He blew the earlier chance, but he does not waste that one. And the diminutive striker opens his account for Australia with a header and a brilliant one too. Australia in front, 18 minutes in.
Well, what broke the status quo for Australia here, with very patient passing sequences, was a moment of really good combination. 3 players in motion. The Palestinian defence, as it was, to stabilise. No problem with the offside call from that position. A mile onside. And Rogic, heavily criticised against Jordan, finds the assist to launch Australia here. And indeed, Jamie McLaren who breaks his duck.
Even when he was winning that golden boot in the Australian A-League with the Brisbane Roar, he himself was talking about having to improve his aerial ability if he wanted to make it overseas and on the international stage. He's worked so hard on that aspect of his game. And now, after more than 7 hours of game time as a Socceroo, he gets his first shot on target, and it was pinpoint into the bottom corner, in amongst Al-Badari as well. He found space in amongst that back 5. What a relief that must be after spurning that early chance too.
Well, let me tell you the relief that's shared around the team. Matt Ryan, the Australian goalkeeper, ran 70 metres to join in the celebration. You don't often see that unless it's Championship Day. Acutely aware of all the teams in Asia about the fans' responses to their performances, to their successes and struggles and difficulties.
A weight off McLaren's shoulders, but here's a chance, perhaps, for Palestine to hit back. Sayam forced wide in the end. And Jaber can't get his cross in past Mobile, who was at fault somewhat for the opening goal the other day for Jordan, defending that corner situation. Bayes, look at all the space here. McLaren wants it deep. Economides maintaining the width. Mobile wants it deep. That's the target. Amar Mobile make it 2 for Australia. The young man has his 3rd goal already for his country. Australia go bang bang and have that 2-goal buffer inside 20 minutes. What a beautiful ball to the back post, and Mobile couldn't miss.
Well, credit the work of Chris Economides. Off the bench against Jordan and impressed. Gets the starting berth today, and he's put on a chance for McLaren, which was unrewarded, and now he's delivered the pass so beautifully, which seals it for Mobile. Look at the run off the ball. Look at Aware Mobile. Back stick. I'm free. Economides sees him, and you couldn't drop a more perfect pass. And Mobile right there to finish with the side foot and give Australia a 2-goal lead.
Well, what a start for the Socceroos, looking to bounce back from that first up defeat. And they are doing it in some style right now, McLaren and Mobile.
Well, there is, in any game of football, Brenton, no antidote for perfect execution. Rogic's pass to McLaren, and then Economides to Mobile. Millimetre perfect.
And wrong-footing defenders in the process, because Hamida, the goalkeeper for Palestine, would have expected all those defenders in front of him to deal with that ball, but it was so clever, the disguise on it, and the run from Mobile as well.
Well, very well prepared have the Socceroos been for this opening 20 minutes. The principal areas for their attack have been those diagonal balls outside the penalty area of Palestine, and yielded 2 goals and 1 chance that should have been a goal.
And what a find A1 Mobile has been for Australia in the last 6 or 7 months, really. He's doing wonderful things with Midtjylland in Denmark right now, enough to earn a contract extension all the way through until 2022. And no wonder they wanted to secure him long term, because he's a player on the rise.
There's the foul against Nazmi Al-Badawi. Speaking of earning contracts, has just secured his place in MLS with FC Cincinnati.
Born and raised in North Carolina and representing FC Cincinnati in their first season coming up in the American top flight. As Australia earn another corner, poked out by Batat, with McLaren right in the vicinity. So Palestine's defence under enormous pressure. Once again, it's Economides to flight one. Irvine! Up he went. And somehow that header was kept out. He's not sure how.
Well, somehow that header was legal when you consider the first two he got punished for. Great action, though. Again, brilliant defending. Somehow Palestine keeping that out. I'm not sure quite if Rami Hamada knew much about it. An incredible leap, prodigious from Irvine. Look at him measure this. And it wasn't Hamada, indeed. It was Batat. But I don't know how that's a legal header when he got pinged for the first two, but happy for it.
A crucial goal line clearance. That header may well have been goal bound. In fact, once Irvine hit the turf, he looked up and was expecting the back of the net to be bulging.
Well, because what he would have seen in his peripheral vision is the goalkeeper committed and beaten. So I think I've beaten the last line. This must be it. He didn't reckon, nor did we necessarily, on Moussa Batat. Just uncanny reading of the play to save his team.
Milligan. McLaren trying to link up with Mobile. Again, it's that man, Batat, winning possession back for his team. Wadi trying to link up with Al-Badawi. Now Palestine have to chase the game. As it stands, Australia will be going to 3 points in Group B on a live ladder right now. Jordan well clear and qualified with 6 points. And that's who Palestine will play in the final group game. Against Jordan, Australia to take on Syria, who sacked their coach overnight after that loss to Jordan. So plenty happening in Group B. And some thinking to do for that man, Noureddin Waldali. He made a change up front. Yasser Islame is their most potent weapon in the attacking third. I wonder when we will see him, or whether he starts to think about keeping him fresh for the third group game. A lot to be played out in the next 20 minutes, perhaps, of this first half. Australia dominating possession and putting it on the scoreboard as well this time. Rogic between the lines. Striding out. Oh, the referee says the ball was won there. Rogic hit the deck expecting a whistle. Milligan will get one here.
Great screening play by Mark Milligan. Tommy Rogic still quizzically looking at the referee. What does constitute a foul? Says the Celtic man. Well, that does.
The replay is pretty damning. For the referee, that is. Now Mobile just a little bit hasty with that return.
A bit lax, and it's very important that a team that wins the early advantage or earns the early advantage then doesn't drop their intensity. That was the lack of focus from Awir Mobile on that occasion. Australia must make sure that that doesn't become a contagion.
Nice run down that left-hand side, and Sayam will indeed earn his team another free kick, edging towards that attacking third, blocked off by Ryan Grant.
And they have been dangerous from these situations. Australia have been warned. Udwadi, difficult to deal with. Abdulatif Al-Badari, the captain, has gone forward to join in as well. The goal-scoring habit of Nazmi Al-Badawi, there or thereabouts for any crumbs.
He's done great things in the secondary league in the United States, building up towards that MLS deal. Made the best 11 in the North American Soccer League 2 years in a row, in 16 and 17. Can he get on the end of things here? Al-Badari and Wadi should be the targets. Not enough on it for them. Al-Badari will still track it down. Batat, decent shape on that one. Irvine back with the initial headed clearance. Poked in by Darwish, dealt with by Sainsbury. Nice switch of play by Batat. Norambuena. Well, gave it up to Economides, who forced the error, and Graham Arnold was not too far away. That was his applause that rung out for young Chris Economides, earning just his 9th cap today. I mentioned it in the team news. Are we witnessing a changing of the guard in that part of the pitch for Australia? Robbie Cruz has just nailed down that position for so long now, but Economides, his form demanded selection today.
Well, I think it's safe to say that the gauntlet has been thrown down. Economides, who's returned to Australia from time in Europe, is really bearing fruit. But the team in general, compared to the match against Jordan, is looking way more self-assured.
Al-Badari's going to gobble that one up, but Economides on the follow-up. Well hooked clear by Darwish. Norambuena couldn't quite get the final ball released for Al-Badawi. Now Zaria. Irvine scrapping, and he actually gets the decision there, which surprises Mahmoud Wadi this time.
The referee think this was possibly handball. It might have been right. Handball in the first instance, perhaps. He's made an imprint as well, Jackson Irvine. Doing very well with Hull City in the English Championship at present.
Degenek gained all that experience in the UEFA Champions League with Red Star Belgrade against elite opposition, PSG, Liverpool and Napoli. They create some headaches for central defenders, and Degenek impressed with them, so much so that the Saudi Arabian giants Al Hilal have come calling. Here's a chance perhaps, but Degenek sees off that initial pass intended for Mahmoud Wadi. McLaren forcing a quick pass by Shadi Shaban. Al-Badari, such a confident player, but he's in trouble again, Shaban. Rogic pounces, and then sliding back in to retrieve the situation he hoped, but also catching plenty of the Celtic star was Shaban.
That's quite heavy treatment. It looked like they'd played their way out of trouble there. But Shaban giving the ball up and then taking out Tommy Rogic, who's, understand, mindful when he falls of protecting that hand. He's yet to retake his feet, not asking for attention, but taking a long time to get back upright. Tommy Rogic.
He is a favourite of the coach, of course, Graham Arnold, who knows him after the time they spent together with the Central Coast Mariners in Australia and he said his hand is broken, but he's got 2 great legs, and he's playing for the 2nd straight game. He hasn't been averse to criticism back home as Milligan delivers, and a header flashing across the face. Jackson Irvine, who scored 2 headed goals in his most recent English Championship game with Hull City, and he thinks he should have buried this one.
Well, this is not to say that Maslowongo wouldn't have had an imprint on the match, but the selection changes have worked. Economides has been outstanding. Jackson Irvine, this was why he was brought into the team. Late arrivals into the penalty area where he can use his aerial prowess. Been clearly on view here today. The referee hasn't appreciated it a couple of times.
Now Soria with the outside of the boot. Too much on it for Norambuena. There's 2 Chilean-born players looking to combine. The largest Palestinian diaspora of any nation in the world. Nearly 500,000 people in Chile with Palestinian roots and ancestry. Rogic trying to win back possession for his team, and in company with Mobile, they did just that. Irvine's ball gives Mobile a chance, and that was an important block at the expense of a corner, because had that pass found its mark, McLaren may have been in for a double.
That's very good pressure. Tommy Rogic just sticking a leg in, working with Mobile, and then squirting the ball clear. Irvine immediately alert to the game plan, and that is the threaded ball in behind the defence. Well, Mobile reacted as well.
Economides' delivery has been on point so far. Irvine takes a tumble, and he's appealing for a penalty. He thought he was tugged to the turf via his shirt illegally. Referee saw nothing untoward. Now Bajic and Zaria, after Bajic got rid of the pass down the line, there was a coming together between he and the right winger. The bench of Palestine didn't like what they saw. Here's a good close-up of what happened to Irvine.
And here's what happened to Zaria.
And the referee is indeed going to show a yellow card too, as is Bajic. Or is he? Most broadcasters suggesting that Zaria may have been booked. Zaria still off the pitch for now. Palestine down a man only briefly as he's invited back onto the pitch. Flicked on by Zaria, helped on towards Wadi. Well, he's got no one to flick it onto. He's an isolated striker. He was hoping that there might be a teammate to run onto that one. Away by Al-Badari. Irvine, so impressive after working his way into the starting 11. Valentin Kovalenko did indeed show a yellow card to Zaria after this incident. Is it for simulation?
Not sure, because I don't think Aziz Bajic meant anything, but equally I did think he caught him across the bridge of the nose.
Perhaps it's for the aggressive nature shown once the referee was trying to calm him down. But it is indeed the number 8 for Palestine into the book. Here he is on the ball. Zaria back to Norambuena. Whitey showing where he wants the delivery. And Mobile has given up the free kick. Switching sides with Economides right now.
Turning tight, Zaria. Mobile looking to get away with a lazy dragging leg. To disguise that. For referee Kovalenko of Uzbekistan. Good situation this for Palestine. Been a real handful so far from these sorts of situations.
That yellow card for Zaria incidentally means that he'll miss the 3rd and final group game through suspension after picking up yellow cards in both group games so far. Received one just 5 minutes into that opening game against Syria. Sayam to deliver with the left boot, it appears. Decent one too. It's Rogic with the header clear. Whitey again the target and can't quite keep it in after working Bajic under the ball initially.
He's a real handful. He's such a big man as well. And he takes the attention of 2, had the better of Aziz Bajic there, who was bailed out, I guess, because they were so close to goal and the ball was going to skid away. Some trademark defending by Al-Badari, the captain of Palestine.
Norambuena. Nice ball. Sayam brings it down for Wadi. Fans want him to shoot. Just ushered off the ball by Mark Milligan, helping out his back 4. Now McLaren, well, it worked out. He held it up for Rogic despite being on all 4s. Now Economides looking for a 1-2. It's well defended by Jaber.
Great end-to-end action there. I mean, massive questions as to why Mahmoud Wadi didn't pass. He wasn't that confident in shooting. He had a fantastic option. Shaban was looming on the left-hand side.
Australia getting a decent spell of possession going again, which led to their opening goal for Jamie McLaren. And then not long after, Mobile doubled their lead. 2-0 up in the 20th minute were Australia. It remains that way now, approaching half-time. Milligan advanced, looking for McLaren on the turn, teeing up Mobile, who blazes over. That should have been 3 for Australia, and he knows it.
Well, for a team that so far in this tournament found it difficult picking their way through the final third where bodies are amassed, that's an excellent pass. Good receipt from Jamie McLaren. It was a little fortuitous in the end. Nevertheless, he was composed enough to regain and put on a great chance for Mobile.
Irvine v Wadi once more, and the striker is coming back from an offside position. Scored a stack of goals in the Jordanian league, did Wadi, earning a lead, a move to Egypt where he plays with Al Masri. And he's won the ball back here. Sloppiness from Irvine. And Wadi asking for a yellow card for Irvine, who's been tussling with from the outset.
Well, it was sloppiness, and then it was just earnestness trying to get back to the ball. The request for a yellow card unheeded.
Jamie McLaren back to pick the pocket of Darwish, and now he's taking off the other way. Economides looks for him, and too tough to control that one at high speed. But he's looking much more lively tonight.
Well, that's what a goal will do. But Economides' idea for that pass was for Jamie McLaren to stay outside the channel. But Jamie's run was angled in, which made the pass look even faster, more difficult certainly to receive. Promising counter-attack from Australia. Going to be more of those types of opportunities. The more Palestine have to come out and attack.
Well, they lifted a trophy last year, the Bangabangdu Cup in Bangladesh.
You love
Palestine.
saying that, Brenton, don't you?
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue nicely. And Abdullah Al-Badari was the player of that tournament. Let's see why he's such a presence at the back for his team. Played in many countries, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Iraq and Egypt. Fabulous player in the twilight of his career now. Hasn't been able to keep Australia quiet in this contest, though. Milligan with flair with the outside of the boot. Bajic trying to flick it over the top of Noran Buena, who got a toe in. All the way back to Milligan, who's helped Australia set the tempo in this game. Was once the central defensive partner of Trent Sainsbury, but Degenek forced his way into the side and Milligan back into midfield. What do you make of that balance?
Well, it's looking very balanced, and I think coming into the half-time, when the conversation will turn to what's worked and what hasn't, and who's done well and who hasn't, the scene setter for Australia has been Mark Milligan. His passing from the very start of the game, it's a great captain's performance, actually. For a team, a lot of question marks being asked of it because of the first day loss. And he set the tone immediately. A couple of nervous moments early defensively from the team, but in possession, Milligan's taken Australia by the scruff of the neck. And others have then, I thought, shown their credentials remarkably. Is this a trend, however, developing, Speedy? You mentioned that there's a sellout going into the game, and it was looking 1,000,000 to be a sellout, a full stadium.
Milligan overhits that one
at kickoff, and we've seen it a couple of times now. As we approach half-time, it's pretty near full here. People waiting for the added invitation, perhaps.
Mark Milligan actually played his last game in the Arabian Golf League at this venue a few years back when he was playing with Banias. His career ended with a 2-1 defeat in this league, at least, where he spent a couple of seasons. Much better memories being forged this time around in the gold of Australia.
He's very frustrated, Mahmoud Wadi. No one, in his opinion, is anticipating, none of his teammates are anticipating him winning the ball and reading the flick-ons. Delivered an earful for Nazmi Al-Badawi.
Offside flag going up once Mobile went to close down his man, and that should bring the first half to an end as the referee glances at his watch. Valentin Kovalenko does indeed send the players to the dressing rooms. Well, what a moment for that man. Jamie McLaren scores his first international goal here in Dubai to give Australia the lead, and then just 2 minutes later, Mobile popped up at the back post, expertly picked out by Chris Economides, and Australia had the kind of lead they were after. 2-0 up against Palestine, who will be looking to hit back in the second half. But Australia's coach said there'd be a reaction, and there has been one. It's 2-0 to Australia at half-time.
So nerves settled somewhat from Dubai. We'll be back in a moment. Job half done, of course, with Bruce Gite, Robbie Slater and Mark Bosnich to analyse that first half. We're back in a moment, live on Fox Sports.
retain the Border Gavaskar Trophy. The Magic Man again. Magnificent work. Look at the crowd.
He is on fire.
Oh, doesn't get any bigger.
What's wrong?
I don't like beer anymore.
Why are you drinking it then?
Because it's summer.
Try summer beer. 30% more summer. Just drink it.
Doesn't make any sense.
I mean, who made beer the boss of summer?
It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day.
In tomorrow's game, there'll be another golden generation.
You'll be told which club to support by your grandparents.
The world will watch us.
I'll have his job.
And we'll be world champions.
At NAB, we're proud to support football in Australia. NAB, more than money.
I was made by early starts.
By the dedication of my family.
Made by pushing myself and never giving up.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Made to inspire the next generation of the Socceroos.
I was made in
the Hyundai A-League.
Join Bet365 and discover the power of the world's favorite online betting company. Instant match updates, in-depth analysis, live streaming. The Bet365 app is so advanced, it will blow your mind.
Gamble responsibly.
The biggest superstars on the planet light up the Australian Open.
Rod Arena erupts.
Every match, every point, the Australian Open on 9.
For making sense of a changing world. For knowing where you stand on the big issues. For following the story all the way through. For the edge you need. The Australian. For the informed Australian.
Welcome back. Half-time in Dubai and Australia. After that shock in the opening game of the tournament on Sunday against Jordan, have settled things somewhat. We lead. Australia lead 2-0 after goals from Jamie McLaren, his first for his country at the 10th time of asking, his 10th cap today in Dubai against Palestine and Awa Mabil, with his third goal for Australia at the 6th time of asking, half-time. Australia 2, Palestine 0. Bruchite, Robbie Slater and Mark Bosnich, ex-Socceroos 1 and all. Watched it all, and Bos, what do you make of that first half?
Well, the whole of Australia wanted a reaction after the first game, and boy did we get it. It was absolutely superb. Right from the start to the finish, it could have been more. Mabil hit that one over the bar. Two really well constructed goals, and they haven't really given Palestine much time to breathe at all. It was exactly what we expected in the first game, but we're getting it here today. It was fantastic.
Brucey, good to see Jamie McLaren. You're satisfied for him, no doubt. It was the merest of touches off the head, but it was a hell of a lot of skill in it. It was a good cross.
Yeah, fantastic cross, and it's great to see him on the score sheet, his first goal for his country, and I think especially on the back of the missed chance early on in the game, this is a fantastic response. He's putting himself in the right positions and a great finish.
Came off the back of some patient build-up. Robbie, have they been patient enough? And how have they got that balance right?
I think they've, it's what we expected really in the first game. And Tommy Rogic as well has been good in this game, good use of the ball. For Jamie McLaren, that's relief. There is no doubt, with the way the media is today, social media, all the players know what's going on, so that's well done to him. He's off the mark. Let's hope he can get another one. But I think everyone were very, very solid. We moved the ball quicker, which we didn't do against Jordan, and we got in between the lines much more. So, very pleasing performance.
I'll let you take you through the second goal, Robbie. Again, off a cross. How have you rated the crossing from the Socceroos tonight as opposed to the Jordan game?
It had to be much better, and it has been. I actually thought as this was going on, we were watching, and I thought Aziz Beich maybe played that to him a little bit early, but he readjusted, came back inside, perfect ball. I mean, slack marking at the back post, you have to say, from Palestine, but good positive run from Awa Mobile, and it's a good finish.
Another thing that was key then, that was something that was lacking the other night, and also something you've got to be very wary of when you play with the so-called 3-9s, well, I call them 2 inside forwards and a number 9. You see Economides where his starting position was. So it doesn't matter that Graham Arnold's told him to start, that he wants Economides and Awa Mobile to start near McLaren. Doesn't matter if they go out wide. And as is Beige as well, doesn't matter if your fullbacks then come in between the opposition fullback and the centre half. Okay, because the bottom line is Economides and Mobile are still far more creative than Ryan Grant and as is Beige. And you see both goals. It was very, very important that both Rogic first started on the other touchline, and in this case, it was Economides that started on the touchline. And the other thing as well to take note is, and Brucey will tell you this as a striker, and Robbie as an ex-winger, doesn't matter how tall you are if the quality of delivery is good.
What's the key difference, Bruce, between this and Sunday against Jordan?
They're more assertive, they're more desperate. You know, they know what's on the line. They're the reigning, we're the reigning champions of Asia, and we're showing that tonight. I think the right and left back, Ryan Grant and Aziz Beige, are getting high and wide, and they're overloading the right and left back of Palestine. We're getting some dangerous crosses in, and we're creating some chances. Awa with a great chance here, should have been 3-0.
Just a little bit of composure there, maybe, and it's the way we've moved the ball. We've moved it much quicker, and we've got better mobility, better circulation of that ball, and and I will say, and this is no disrespect, it's as it should be. I mean, we are playing Palestine. You know, we're not playing one of the bigger nations, and I mean that with all respect to Palestine. So we shouldn't be surprised.
You can only beat who's in front of you.
And there is there was a pressure after the first game, but no, normal service has resumed.
Chris Economides come in for Robbie Cruz. Right call so far?
You'd have to say yes.
Why is that?
Well, he's made a goal. He could have made another one with that chance to Jamie McLaren. So his movement's been good. And look, I've always said, and Robbie has copped a lot from a lot of people. And look, if you're not scoring goals, you've got to be making goals. Chris Economides got 1 assist, could have had 2. So that's what you want from your wide players. You want them to produce.
Palestine will be desperate, especially in this next 20 minutes, because it's their tournament almost on the line, especially if they copy-pasting here with head-to-head records and all that. They've got Jordan in the last group game. What do you expect from them, how they're going to play? And conversely, do we adjust what we're doing?
No.
Or just keep doing
we
exactly
we don't need to adjust anything. If anything, they need to adjust. Their plan would have been to go in at half-time at 0-0, to hopefully get to 70 minutes and 0-0, and then maybe look for one in the last 20 minutes. They're going to have to come out, which will suit us, because the way that our team is set up, and the fact that we like to dominate games, it's much easier, as we saw after the first game, for teams to come out at us, and then we can play around them. But we've still got to be careful, because you don't want to be going into the last 10, 15 minutes, all of a sudden Palestine get one, then it's 10 minutes to go, and after a feeling of total dominance, all of a sudden it's 2-1 and you get a corner against you. You don't want that type of situation. Just keep going the way you're going to go. Make sure we don't concede anything in the back. Don't get sloppy. And that's up to the more senior players to make sure with the passing that, just to keep it sharp, keep it brisk. And if they keep playing like this, they'll get a 3rd goal.
Team talk with Mark Bosich right there. Let's have a look at what's coming up tonight from the Asian Cup. It's Philippines and China right off the back of this one, but we're going to have an extensive post-game and all the reaction coming out of Dubai as well. And Kyrgyzstan up against Korea. Kyrgyzstan pretty unlucky. If it wasn't for their goalkeeper against China, they would have got something out of their opener. So that is the menu for this evening, those 2 games from Group C. We're off to a short break here from the studio. Do stick around, though. The second half from Dubai is not too far away with the Socceroos in control. Can they push on? Find out right after this.
Goodness.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
The Hyundai A-League on Fox Sports. Oh my goodness.
Welcome For the world's favorite online betting company. This season, Bet365 will feature over 300,000 different sporting events. We want you to feel so close, you can almost touch it.
Gamble responsibly.
What's wrong?
I don't like beer anymore.
Why are you drinking it then?
Because it's summer.
Try summer beer. 30% more summer. Just drink it.
Doesn't make any sense.
I mean, who made beer the boss of summer?
It's gonna be a bright
No time to read? The Blinkist app gives you the key ideas from the world's best non-fiction books in just 15 minutes. And with audio, you can listen and learn on the go. Fit reading into your life with Blinkist. Visit Blinkist.com or download the Blinkist app now.
In tomorrow's game, there'll be another golden generation.
You'll be told which club to support by your grandparents.
The world will watch us.
I'll have his job.
And we'll be world champions.
At NAB, we're proud to support football in Australia. NAB, more than money.
I was made by early starts.
By the dedication of my family.
Made by pushing myself and never giving up.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Made to inspire the next generation of the Socceroos.
I was made
I was made in the Hyundai A-League.
Yes, get in there, Lewis. What a drive. You are not dead. Goal! They have done it, Australia! The perfect storm has erupted. They've done it again. They'll do it, and Australia are champions of the world. Oh boy, listen to this.
Welcome back, Owen Mobile. Another goal for the Socceroos, well taken as well. And we lead 2-0 over Palestine in this crucial second match of the 2019 Asian Cup. So Boz has had his say about what we need to continue to do in that second half. Brucey, does your opinion divert too much from your learned colleague right here, or is there something else that they really need to ensure?
Well, it doesn't divert too much, but what you saw after the first goal we scored was Arnie pleading with the boys to stay concentrated. You know, he was pointing to his temples, like, concentrate, concentrate. Yes, we've got the goal, but don't let it slip. And I think that'll form part of his team talk at half-time. Like Bozza said, you don't want to go into the last 10 minutes, they score a goal and it's stress for the last 10 minutes. So he'll be telling them to concentrate, keep doing what they're doing and get a third goal and put the game to bed.
Rob, quick word?
Exactly. For them, it's to play the same way and try and get a third goal, try and get a fourth goal.
It goes on head-to-head record, so Jordan are definitely going to finish top, but if you finish even with someone, then it goes on goal difference if that match is drawn against that head-to-head opponent. So that's how it all works out. We'll have the standings after this, after the second half. Let's get back to Dubai right now with your commentators Andy Harper and Brenton Speed.
Welcome back to the Rashid Stadium in Dubai. Australia 2-0 up at the break and ready to get the second half underway. Crucial game in Group B. Australia looking to claim all 3 points. They're in pole position to do just that. After 2 goals in 2 minutes from Jamie McLaren and Awa Mobile. As Irvine looks to go aerial again, and the referee has got him again for using the arms to propel himself off an opponent. So not a lot has changed from the opening exchanges, Andy Harper.
Well, I thought Jackson Irvine going to pose an early question to the referee to see where things stand. We saw in that first half when he was charging through the penalty area, had that headed effort cleared off the line by Musab Batak. He might have thought he was in a bit of clear air, but I'll test that for first opportunity in the second half.
He couldn't beat Wadi on that occasion, but Bajic able to let it go through to Matty Ryan, who's elected to go with the cap in this second half. Looking right into the sun.
Directly into the sun.
He's gone with the AFC cap, so the Australian one didn't fit or wasn't approved to be worn out there. I'm not sure it's fitting that well, that one, but here's Economides trying to buy some time for Bajic to run onto it. Little dink inside to Economides, who produced a wonderful assist for Mobile's goal. And Mark Milligan really has been running the show in midfield. Gets it back from Degenek. Based in Scotland now with Hibernian. Both Milligan and McLaren, who were hugely influential in that first half. Corner one off Norambuena. And it's been taken short. Al Badari sees off the danger in the middle. But they clocked off again from the short corner routine. Here's Economides to the back post. Mobile the target. And it's last touch off him, is it? The corner's been given.
Well, the corner is a good reward for a beautiful little pass from Mark Milligan. This is the tail end of it to find Economides, but yeah, clear corner. All the expectation when Milligan received that ball was to just spray it wide immediately to Bajic, who was on the touchline. And he went for Economides, which opened up the opportunity completely.
Economides again, Irvine coming in at the back post, and he cannot believe that the whistle's gone against him again. But Valentin Kovalenko presumes that players should be able to jump without using their arms.
He didn't, you know, this is getting ridiculous now. The one that he should have been penalised for, I guess, was the one that nearly ended in a goal. Even so, in those situations, you're happy for a referee to allow for a goal-scoring opportunity, but this, in general play, has been really hard to follow. And it's not as though Mahmoud Wadi needs any help. I mean, he's a strapping individual, very capable in the air himself.
Economides misplaced pass after doing the hard work, and Siam tries to capitalise on the turnover. Mobile able to scramble it back to Ryan, who has Bajic as an outlet. Uses the left back, looking down the line for McLaren. Al Badari timing the challenge from behind and blocking off Economides on the follow-up work and dragging him back as well. And the referee wants a word with the captain.
Well, despite giving away the free kick, it was impressive recovery work from Al Badari, who was in the exchange on halfway and on the ground when McLaren squirted the ball clear to Economides, and he managed to regain and chase back. He's such an impressive character, albeit having conceded the foul there, which does present a good opportunity for Australia.
He did not fancy the foot race with Economides. Again, they've gone short from the set piece. Milligan to Mobile, trying to turn his man. Jabir getting a foot in.
Very good, very good. And again, with his hands on the tiller, Mark Milligan, instead of turning onto his very comfortable right side and clipping the ball in, he threaded. And Mobile with a good slide of foot to nearly get past. Jackson Irvine believes he's been fouled inside the penalty area. He's very irritated at the moment.
Australia going short with just about every corner. Andy, particularly in this second half. What do you make of that strategy? What are they trying to get out of it?
Well, I think it's the element of surprise. And the stereotypes about what certain countries can and can't do are alive and well, even in 2019 at the Asian Cup. And a lot of the neutral commentary expects Australia to try and bash their way through.
Bajic asking a lot of Irvine, who had to stretch for it. Did well to control it. Now Sainsbury can go to Rogic, and Ryan Grant has taken off. Picked out Mobile as well with a purposeful pass, and the weight of numbers won out in the end for Palestine, but they're under the pump right now. Not a lot of ball for them in the attacking half as Australia just keep on coming the other way. Rogic. They're backing off on Tom Rogic. You do that at your peril as he earns his team a very attacking set piece here. Don't think they'll be taking this one short.
Well, you didn't get to call him in that little sequence, but Tommy Rogic, I'm sure, appreciates the run of Ryan Grant down the right-hand side, who just moments earlier was released and hit a good cross in. This is the incident that Jackson Irvine understandably asked, what's going on? I didn't think you were allowed to use your arms, says Jackson. Tommy Rogic then, with Ryan Grant providing the decoy outside him, skipped inside to attract the foul, and you would imagine this has got T. Rogic written all over it.
Mobile fancies it as well. Rogic has only scored 1 goal for his country in the last 18 months. But he has scored 8 in the last 4 years, and that's the highest scoring Socceroo during that period who's available to Graham Arnold right now. With Cahill and Jedinak out of the equation. And Leckie still working his way back to peak fitness. So will it be the righty or the lefty here? Rogic or Mobile? A1 Mobile does wonderful things with Midtjylland from set pieces in Denmark. Rogic, the Celtic man. And plenty going on. The referee eventually giving the all clear. And it is Tom Rogic, blocked by the wall. And the follow-up effort from Degenek seen to by Jaber. Of course, Australia missing one of their top set-piece takers in Aaron Moy, who used to score from that distance in the A-League all those years ago, now with Huddersfield Town, but sadly ruled out of this tournament through injury. Economides, he's seen his man again and he's found him. What a ball to Ryan Grant. And the deflection off the crossbar, avoiding an own goal and conceding a corner in the end. Jaber breathes a huge sigh of relief.
Well, since kickoff, that pass into the overlapping fullback has caused Palestine all sorts of trouble. Brilliant was Economides to Grant, and his effort nearly rewarded by the deflected effort.
Now Economides flights one. Sainsbury was attacking it, but Sayam got it clear. Back in by Bajic, and McLaren was sniffing around for number 2. That was an important clearance by Batat.
Good pressure by Australia. It's wave after wave. Palestine holding strong, holding very strong actually.
Bajic, Irvine, and it's onto the roof of the net in the end. He's closing in on a goal for his country, another one.
When you consider the amount of high quality delivery into the penalty area, and Palestine are getting their bodies there. Jackson Irvine close, good leap. In fact, it was the ricochet effort. I don't think he got there in the first instance. Mahmoud Wadi headed the ball onto Jackson Irvine. Little tweak in the technique from the Australian midfielder.
Bajic elects not to go back to his goalkeeper and somehow drops it over the top expertly to Economides, and now Australia are away again. Mobile released, and Ryan Grant, the engine he's displaying is phenomenal. He's now out of position after Mobile was caught in possession. And Shaban earns a relieving free kick for Palestine. Well, Rogic was within the 10 yards and the free kick was played his way, and the referee says that's a cautionable offence.
Yeah, I'm happy for referees to show no patience in those situations. But they've changed the way they manage it, the referees now, but quite clearly there's an intent to just delay the attack, and that should be punished with a yellow card.
And that looked like a handball by Wardy, but it's play on for Sainsbury. What about his balance displayed there? As his legs were being chopped from underneath him, he still rode through those challenges and found Bajic, the left back, looking to open up a little channel there for Economides, who tracked it down. Delivery deep, and the goalkeeper can come. Rami Hamida. First change of the game, not too far away, as Wardy is signalled offside. And that will lead to Palestine going to their bench. There's a look at the offside decision, a very easy one. So Debar about to come on for Zaria. Zaria on a yellow card, of course, part of the thinking perhaps for the coach of Palestine, bringing on Debar, who earns his 11th cap. He's got 4 goals already for his country, so a good goal-scoring return. And they'll be hoping a chance falls his way to get back into this Group B encounter. Sainsbury all over the back of Wardy, who keeps it going with a quickly taken free kick for Shaban. Now Batats. The fans of Palestine getting excited with their first foray into Australian territory in this half, really. Taken quite some time. And Deganek will settle for the goal kick.
Charged down by Nazmi Al-Badawi. This is a great stage for Al-Badawi. Great opportunity with his team down by 2. And picking up his share of the scraps in midfield from time to time, as he did on that occasion. He just rushed his effort. Australia able to play then off him for the goal kick. Really need to make the very most of those opportunities in the Australian half. The pattern set. Australia have the game in a vice at the moment. Palestine have to work their way out of it. On those occasions when they do is when their clever players, clever ball players, need to really find themselves, and Al-Badawi is one of them.
Rogic robbed of possession, tried to win it back, but Darwish a chance to search forward, combined with the substitute Debar. And here's an aggressive pass looking for Wardy. Matty Ryan advancing from his own area. Palestine scored 1 goal in the 2015 AFC Asian Cup, which was much celebrated as they lost all 3 group games. A goalless draw, enough to yield a point against Syria in the opening game of this tournament. Can they find another goal on this stage against Australia, who go the other way through Economides? Held up by Debar. Milligan, first time ball. Accurate to Economides. Irvine knows Ryan Grant is there as an option down the right. Look how deep they are defending here, Palestine. Holding off on Irvine as well, who has time to survey the options. Bajic now can use Irvine once more. Rogic alongside him. Grant again the target for the ball in behind. He slides in and out of play off him. Also collected his man to concede the free kick.
Good officiating. If the referee received assistance from the in-goal match official. It's a clear foul, well adjudicated.
Wardy again, that aerial threat, able to flick it on to Debar. So attacking intent shown in that change by the coach of Palestine.
It's breaking down though in that middle third for Palestine. They have worked enough space to have maybe put Australia under more pressure. And you wonder quite how much longer Coach Nuruddin can resist Yasser Islameh.
Oh, brilliant. What a turn that is. Into space, Economides took on the strike and didn't quite get hold of it. He took a bit of a divot there. He's just checking on Economides. Hopefully didn't pick up any injury concern. Graham Arnold can ill afford it, but he's staying down here. And that's a worry for Australia.
Well, it's not Palestine's worry, however. They're entitled to play on. And a beautiful turn from Economides. He slipped and collected himself.
All the injury concerns for Graham Arnold to deal with. Moy, as we mentioned, ruled out of the tournament. Martin Boyle, who was set to play a big part, also ruled out for the rest of the season with Hibernian back in Scotland. Arzani, he's out for the season as well with an ACL, the young rising star of Australian football. Naboot on the bench. Leckie also listed among the substitutes, and they don't want Economides to be forced out with any tweak after that shot. Looks like he'll be okay to continue. Chance for Graham Arnold to pass on some instructions, including telling Mobile to switch sides for now with Economides.
But now Chris Economides is allowed straight back on the field. Offside. I mean, do you have to pay no penance at all for stopping the game and having a drink and being taken off? It's a tight one for offside too, just quietly. There apparently is no withholding period at all for players whose injury requires the game to be stopped and then they leave the field. He's hobbling a little bit, Chris Economides. It's not a matter of whether he is well or not. The point is about the convention and the issues around the game and time management.
Graham Arnold keeping a close eye on Economides, perhaps flirting with the idea of a change. Al Badari able to go stride for stride with the smaller Jamie McLaren. He lost him though for the opening goal. McLaren finding space between defenders, which he has struggled to do in previous appearances for his country, but all that video analysis they do may have reaped its reward here. Helped on again by Wadi. The tower is such a handful aerially for any opponent. Mobile upended well after that flick on.
Well, Norambuena in that last stoppage came to the sideline to get his left hamstring treated. If he's feeling a little bit tight and struggling, you'd be getting the message to Awir Mobile Quicksmart, wouldn't you? Because he would love the thought of playing against the defender. That's a handball.
Gonna have to go back from where the free kick was conceded for that. Again, a good pass by Milligan. Now Degenek getting advanced, goes back to his skipper. Grant available down the line, but that was a tight squeeze, so checks back out for Irvine. Bajic demanding it here. That's the target. Not enough on it to get it over the top of that aforementioned Norambuena. And Dabar is being encouraged to stride out. Wadi waits in the middle. Dabar taking on all comers and running out of real estate.
Well, that's instructive, Brenton, because the under-hit pass from Jackson Irvine, which was intercepted and sprung Palestine with an opportunity, get into Australia's half, and there are 4 Australians surrounding the ball carrier and not a teammate to support Palestine in sight.
Too much on that one from Grant.
And he misread that rotation as well, because Rogic took all the attention. Mobile was free. That inside right. A good game otherwise. Ryan Grant, he puts a lot of pressure on opposing defences with his constant runs forward. Very intelligent diagonal runs too, from starting from a wide position.
He's been hamming it up in recent days as well, Ryan Grant, talking about that hairstyle of his, requiring some AFC approval to play in this tournament. Starring with Sydney FC in the Australian A-League over the past few seasons under Graham Arnold, and earning an international call-up once Arnie took over. Whitey, a bit of space. What can he tee up from a wide area? I'd love to have him in the middle, getting on the end of things. There were 3 teammates to hit, so Sainsbury did well to shut down the cross. Trent Sainsbury, playing with PSV in Holland, worked his way into the starting lineup in recent months. Made his Champions League debut against Tottenham at Wembley. Came up with the winner as well, sadly for him at the wrong end. An own goal in a late cameo there. Both he and Bajic signing with the Dutch Giants when Mark van Bommel got that job after being the assistant coach at the World Cup of Australia. There's been some criticism of Palestine being too defensive under Noureddin Wold Ali. Do they have the chance to get a bit more proactive here as Irvine slides in and affects that shot? DeBar stayed down for a while, hoping he might get a free kick. Nothing doing. The coach turns to his bench once more for Palestine. Another change is imminent. Tegenek with time to track it down. Australia's 2 goals came in the 18th and 20th minutes. Haven't been able to add to that since. They've had a few chances. Building to something here as Bajic stayed onside. Milligan screaming for it. And now looking for Bajic again. Mobile took it out of the air instead. And Palestine able to work it clear. Long ball. Looking for Wadi again. He's onside this time, but isolated big time. Trying to get forward in the middle. Wadi still, the back heel, instinctive. Found a teammate, but DeBar couldn't make anything of it.
The stadium lit up. So much anticipation. An opportunity for Australia now. There are a lot of players in gold shirts forward. Mobile has decided to drop anchor on this attack, settle things down. As dominant really as Australia have been, a Palestine goal with the size and energy of the gallery that's gathered here will certainly change the dynamic. On that basis, Australia will be very wary as Graham Arnold thinks, what changes do I make perhaps to shore things up or kick on from here?
He's in deep dialogue with his assistant coach, Rene Mullenstein, at the moment. Trying to work out how to utilise his bench in this last 20 minutes.
I reckon the way things are, that the 2 candidates would be Masluongo and Gersbach for different reasons, obviously.
Here's Ryan Grant off the 1-2 from Mobile. Back post delivery. They took a risk there, letting it slide through. Bajic blocked off, but legally, and it's harmlessly out for a goal kick in the end. That was risky defending though by Noran Buena. On comes Rashid for Al Badawi. #12th cap for Rashid, 1 goal to his name, and he is going to play more advanced than he's used to playing. Slotting straight back in to central midfield when they lost possession, though. How aggressive are they going to be seeking this goal to put the jitters through Australia?
And so the two changes, perhaps for Australia, the way I'm seeing it, is with Jackson Irvine having done his job so well, maybe Maslow will go now just to provide some fresh legs to steer the ship home. And the question about left fullback is not whether Aziz Bayic is struggling physically or having played well or not. I think he passes with flying colours on both. But with a view down the tournament to maybe having to rotate some players in and out to keep things fresh, it's a 7-game stint if you want to win this competition. Does Graham Arnold start thinking about those types of permutations, and how much game time, therefore, does Alex Gersbach need to get to be ready when called upon?
Rashid keeping this one alive, but Sainsbury heads clear of his area. Jabir played in by Shaban. Delivery on his right boot's not bad, and the header. Well, he got up again, Mahmoud Wadi, but he's struggling with cramp right now. He's done a lot of running, one out up front, and it's hurting physically.
He's cramped up that big time, but there's another instance of just how difficult he is to handle. Mahmoud Wadi.
So many vertical leaps as well. He's been in that many aerial duels, and it all adds up.
Yeah. Well, this was him on the dribble. He nearly went without the ball to start with, but beautiful swivel of the hips, great balance, and then a near thing, a very near thing, to bring Dabar into the equation. And this is the cross that he's just received. Big, powerful man. And even the best and the most powerful can come a cropper to cramp.
It looked like he was trying to be unselfish as well. Even though he rose for the header, he felt he was too far out to test Matty Ryan.
And probably was, given the trajectory of the cross. It was a very high cross. So just lacking that extra support player. Dabar, the substitute, just couldn't quite make up the ground as needed.
Well, he had Yashir Islame leading the line last time around. He's kept him in reserve. Here comes Australia's first change. Tom Rogic, with that broken bone in his hand, has played his part this afternoon. He makes way. And we get to see Luongo and Irvine as a combo in midfield for Australia now.
And Irvine has moved into the attacking midfield position, just vacated by Tom Rogic.
He was criticised for his performance against Jordan. Did he atone this afternoon, Tom Rogic?
Yeah, much better today. The team's been much better today. And as each game passes, we get to see just how difficult Jordan are presenting as an opponent. You know, two very good games from them.
Irvine, wonderful first touch. Can't pick out McLaren in the middle though, as Hamida came to claim. Sainsbury's turn to go. Here's a chance for Siam to turn. Milligan heading him off at the pass. Finds Wadi and will eventually find a teammate that ball, not the one he intended it for. Now Dabar. Darwish going back to his captain, Al Badari. Laid off by Rashid. Irvine gets a little toe in. Sainsbury hacks it clear. Just a sign now, with less than 15 minutes to go in the 90, that they're going to commit a few men more men forward, Palestine. There might be some space for Australia, and Irvine nearly played McLaren in. Wadi has had enough. His body just cannot take him through the rest of this game. Cramp getting the better of him. It's been a wonderful shift, taking on Australia's back line almost single-handedly. And we are going to see no Yassir Islameh. Maybe an injury cloud, or maybe being kept in reserve for that final group game. All important against Syria. So it's Khalid Salem who's going to make his way on instead.
Well, that's a handful gone for Australia. A real handful. Given a very good account of himself. Mahmoud Wadi.
All three changes made by Palestine. Australia looking comfortable with this 2-0 lead. Fans of the Socceroos back home in Australia looking to get to bed in a hurry, but not before Australia seal 3 points for them. Palestine looking to breathe some life back into this contest.
Well, they're just one breakaway, one free kick from doing just that. Australia far from safe yet. As dominant as they've been, they've created some good chances to score, less so in the second half. It should be said, the closest they came was that deflected cross off Ryan Grant, which hit the crossbar.
Long throw. And on the end of it is Bajic back across the face and seen clear by Batat. Irvine nearly got a nick on it in the middle as well. I think that's the intent of Bajic, just to fire that back across the face and look for a touch off an opponent or a teammate. Playing their way out from the back. Luongo, first real involvement since replacing Rogic. Mobile earns a corner after tricking his way past Jaber. They've had a running battle all night.
A very tidy play from Awir Mobile. The Luongo positioned beautifully there to pick off that Palestine possession. Might have released Jamie McLaren at first instance. It was a slight opening to put McLaren away.
They've taken a lot of corners short. No one presenting for that this time around. So Economides delivers deep, too deep for everyone. And Sainsbury gives up the chase. You spoke earlier about the length of this tournament, having to deliver over the best part of a month. And is that part of the reason for Australia's game management in this second half? Haven't been too aggressive in seeking a third goal?
I wouldn't have thought so on that discussion. I think there's a game to play and you have to put your opponent away, and they haven't done that yet. The game remains just in that ever so slightly precarious position. They can change very quickly, football matches, as everyone watching completely appreciates.
Lovely link up here. Grant to Irvine after Mobile's early work. Coughed up by Irvine, who broke things up second time around.
However, the tournament management issue, Brenton, I think does come into sharp discussion with your substitutions, and to give players a spell. I think 4 years ago, there's an extra game to win it this time around. 4 years ago, Japan were beaten in that semi-final, epic semi-final, by this tournament's hosts.
Quarter-final, of
course. Quarter-final. Thanks. They just ran out of steam. Aguirre ran the stars in every match in the hot and humid Australian summer, and I think they came a cropper as a result.
Yeah, one of those games was against Palestine, where all the stars turned out for Japan.
They all lined up that night.
So Graham Arnold goes to his bench, and there should be quite the ovation from the Australian fans and the bench as well for Jamie McLaren, who celebrated his first international goal 18 minutes in. Here's how he scored it.
Well, substitute 1, Rogic, to substitute 2, McLaren. It's a beautiful goal in every way. Crafty finish, superb delivery, and immeasurable relief, I'd suggest, for Jamie McLaren.
So he makes way for Gianu, like-for-like change. Graham Arnold with a pat on the head for Jamie McLaren. A weight off his shoulders. And Gianu, he got his first international goal in a big win against Kuwait in Graham Arnold's first game in charge. Free kick against Milligan.
That's to be advised against by Wimmer Bill. Is the ref's just having a chat to him as well about stopping that ball from getting back to the point where the free kick should be taken.
Offside flag up here. Sainsbury forced into the headed clearance by the offside man, Salem. And here's a yellow card for time wasting, and you talked about the accumulation of yellow cards and how they can come back to hurt. Sainsbury is so upset that the referee has deemed that time wasting against him. And he will not be available for the final group game against Syria. Australia will be forced into a reshuffle. He's going to be banned. Yellow cards in the first 2 games for Trent Sainsbury. How big will that moment be? With Australia slated to move to 3 points today, but still with work to do against Syria in that final group game without their first choice centre-half now.
Well, still with 1 substitute up his sleeve, does Graham Arnold integrate that next starter into some live action?
Well, he might have to move Milligan back there, or does he go with a Matt Yerman in the next game? Or does Milligan go into the heart of defence and Luongo plays alongside Irvine? All remains to be seen. They've still got to close out this game, Australia, because here come Palestine. Economides, chance to run at his opposite number. Al Badari didn't fancy the foot race against him earlier. Now Luongo. Milligan. Mobile. Whips in a dangerous looking ball, and Gianu couldn't get on the end of it. Can't ask for much better service than that. So that's the big story in the coming days, the suspension of Sainsbury for Australia.
Well, it's a nice ball again. Bill just stopped his run, Gianu, and by that stage it was going to be too far away from him. They've had plenty, Australia, of such incursions into the Palestine penalty area this second half.
No one at all trying to get on the end of a decent looking cross, and Matty Ryan plucked it out of the sky. Shadows lengthening here in Dubai as Gianu holds things up. Found by an expert ball out by Matty Ryan, and now Mobile keeps it in. Gianu was on the move in the middle. Milligan found a choice of players. Economides, his shot blocked. And look at the isolation here. DeBar taking on 4 Australians. Luongo takes it away. The player of the tournament 4 years ago when Australia lifted the trophy down under. Now Mobile. And that could easily have deflected past Hamada. No touch off the defender, and it's straight through to his opposite number. Robbie Cruz has been waiting by the halfway line for a couple of minutes now, and that change will be able to occur because the referee calls a stoppage for both Shaban and Mobile who've gone down here.
Well, statistically, Australia have had plenty of promising attacks, nicely measured attacks in the final third, but statistically that's a rare thing. Shot on goal in the second half. And it lacked a bit of power. Mobile made the space for himself. Again, he's been impressive today. Helped himself to Australia's second. A beautiful cross from Economides, who's certainly caught the eye today. It's a chance for Robbie Cruz now to enjoy another moment for the national team. There's the goal for Awir Mobile. There's the ball. Perfect. Just perfect from Chris Economides.
They were worried about McLaren, and they didn't see Mobile coming in at the back post. Born in Kenya of South Sudanese origin, he moved to Australia just in time to fall in love with the Socceroos at that 2006 World Cup, and now representing Australia on the Asian Cup stage. Different role for Robbie Cruz. He's used to taking on fresh defences. Now he gets a chance to take them on in the closing minutes.
And a defence depleted by one so far, at least. Shaban has left the field on a stretcher for more treatment. And having used all their substitutes, Palestine now will be a man less.
This game really has taken its toll. Temperatures only in the mid-20s, and they appear ideal football conditions, but that sun still has a bit of sting in it for the players to contend with, and there's been a lot of running down the flanks for the likes of Mobile. Luongo. Cruz. Milligan. What role will he be playing in that final group game against Syria with Sainsbury suspended? Which way would you be going?
I think the least obtrusive is to have Milligan drop into defence and Luongo comes in.
Here's Cruz. Ryan Grant. Economides. Oh, that could have deflected in as well. Out off Batat for yet another corner.
Graham Arnold's asking for a handball. Economides firing this across the edge of the 6-yard box. It really could have gone anywhere. Handball, says the coach of Australia.
Looked like it did strike the hand of Batat, but he had no reaction time at all after the initial deflection. Again, they work it short. Economides. Here's a chance. Shianu off the bench for Jamie McLaren. And both of his available strikers right now have scored for Graham Arnold. And the 3 points are safe as Australia make it 3-0.
Well, as the teams are announced for today's game, and with the expectation that Australia was going to get a lot of ball into the penalty area, and a lot of that ball was going to be of the aerial nature, why Apostolos Giannou wasn't in the starting lineup. This is exactly what people were imagining. He's got his chance off the bench to show what he's about. He's had a couple of very impressive moments already, and this is icing on the cake. Expert header from an accomplished professional, and Australia now safe.
The 28-year-old striker who plays his club football in Cyprus with AEK Larnaca, gets to play in the Europa League with that club as well, so earning experience on that stage. Represented Greece in his first senior international, then pledged his allegiance to Australia, and he comes up with his second goal in Socceroos colours. Palestine now hunting a little bit of consolation. Gets away from Debar, though. 3 minutes of stoppage time being added on.
And as Australia now looks forward to that next game, and how does Graham Arnold make that change for Sainsbury, who'll be suspended with the second yellow card? Is it too disruptive to take Mark Milligan out of midfield, where he has been supreme today? That old chestnut about making 2 changes to cover 1.
Well, you think back to Matt Yerman, where he rose to prominence was against Syria and Honduras in those World Cup playoffs under Ange Postecoglou. He didn't put a foot wrong in those games. Matt Yerman, does he come into the team? Someone Graham Arnold knows well from club football land back in Australia as well. And then partner Degenek, and then you keep Milligan in midfield. They are the headaches and conundrums for Graham Arnold heading into that final group game, where a point at least will be needed.
And then you turn the dial to Palestine, who care of their draw in game 1, and despite the loss here, probably by 3 goals, their tournament remains alive. Islami didn't play today, so you wonder against Jordan, does he get the injection off the bench in a game they now have to win? Jordan maybe in some measure of complacency, having won 2 games and already through to the next group before game 3. So it's all remaining possible still for Palestine.
Australia hunting a 4th here in the final minute. Luongo, bodies in the road again. Clutching a shoulder in back play is Economides, who was blocked off after playing the initial ball to spark the attack. And Graham Arnold has one player coming back from a serious shoulder problem. Andrew Naboot sustained that at the World Cup, of course. And he checked on Economides' welfare, and he's okay. He's looking sprightly
He's
again.
been terrific today. Picked up a couple of knocks, but a terrific day out for Economides and Australia.
Graham Arnold said there'd be a reaction from Australia, and he saw one. Jamie McLaren's first international goal started things. 2 minutes later, Awa Mobile added a second, and then right at the death, Apostolos Giannou popped up to make the point safe, and the Socceroos move to second in Group B with 3 points to their name. Still all to play for on the final match day in this group, when Australia take on Syria, who have 1 point to their name, and Palestine take on all-conquering Jordan, who've already secured their passage through to the knockout phase. Full time in Dubai, Australia 3, Palestine 0. It was comprehensive in the end.
Yeah, good win for the Socceroos. Much needed, of course, given what went down in that first match. But too good for Palestine tonight. Bruce Gite, Robbie Slater, Mark Bosnich here to analyse everything about that with a view to the last group game against Syria. Did what they had to do. Bozza?
Yes, they did, and in the first half, they were super. Second half, they were just professional, in my opinion. Obviously, they didn't really go up anywhere past, I would say, 4th gear. But look, as a player, and the boys will tell you, we're winning 2-0. You just want to make sure the second half, especially when you really need to win, is just make sure you don't get sloppy, and that's all professional. In the end, got the 3rd right towards the end. But like I said, first half, absolutely super, and a really good win.
What's the biggest thing you take out of that, Robbie?
Performance of Chris Economides for me. I thought he was man of the match. I thought he was excellent in most of the things he did, and obviously, that'll be very pleasing for Graham Arnold. His performance came in late to the squad, of course, and with the injuries, he's proved that he's going to be vitally important in this tournament. Also, good performance across the pitch. Milligan was great in midfield, and he does have a decision, I guess, with the suspension to Sainsbury, whether he moves him back. But for the moment, I think it's enjoy the result, because it was much needed and it was good professional performance.
Brucey, from a player's perspective, is it relief, or is it just the knowledge that, this is us, we're back to where we should have been after that first game against Jordan?
I think it's the knowledge. That self-belief coming back, the confidence, the mood in the camp now for the next few days before the Syria game is going to be a lot more upbeat. They'll be much more assured of themselves going into that next game as well. And they'll start feeling again like they are the reigning champions. I think that intimidation factor, We're not really having that in this Asian Cup to date, and this is a good step in the right direction.
That's a good scene there with Mark Billigan, with one of his girls allowed to get on the field and say hello to Dad after captaining his side to a win. Let's have a look at the goals, all from crosses, Bozza.
Yes, and we spoke about this the other night, about the need, first and foremost, like Robbie and Bruce said at half-time, to move the ball quickly. You can see quick ball, but also for players to use the full width of the pitch, and then, last but not least, quality delivery in. And you saw probably the smallest player on the park there. It doesn't matter if the ball is good enough. They will still get headers in, and we deservedly took the lead. But a really good passage of play for both goals, and especially this first goal.
Good to see Tom Rogic deliver something like that, and not long after, Awa Mabil got on the end of one from Chris Economides. Nice play down the left here, linking up with Aziz Beige.
Yeah, cutting inside, and Economides keeps his width, skips back into there. Difficult to pick someone out from that kind of position, but the run of Mabil and the delivery was perfect, and that was only a couple of minutes, and you could feel the relief, when that second one went in, and they went on with the job from there.
It's a fair difference Awa's made since he's made his debut, Brucey. It's good to see. It's such a heartening story from getting where he was in a refugee camp once upon a time in Kenya to where he is right now. It's a beautiful story, and here's the third. Another cross, Brucey, and taken from Gianu.
Another cross, another header, and I think, especially in Asia, just how important it is to have that heading ability. You know, we saw countless goals from Tim Cahill, Josh Kennedy in previous national teams, and just how crucial that is. And we're seeing it now with Gianu and McLaren. And like Bozza said, you don't have to be 6'4". If the cross is good enough, if you time your run well enough and get a good connection, you score goals. And Gianu will be very happy, late call up into the squad, and he's contributing to the team and got his goal tonight.
Just on Awa, how good is it to see him performing like this for the Socceroos?
Yeah, fantastic for me. Look, I had the pleasure of playing with him at Adelaide United when he was just breaking through, and he was so determined. And you know, some people might have called him delusional back in the day, but if you don't dream, then you can't achieve. And he had big dreams, and he's living that out now.
Yeah, and there's Masalongo with his kid, and Danny Vukovic's got his kid. It's daddy daycare time right now. The mums have gone beauty. There you go. We're off for a bit of relax.
We didn't see that against Jordan, did we?
No.
The families didn't want to see him.
Exactly.
Families ran straight out the back to the bus.
Straight to the pub. Second half, Robbie. How would Graham Arnold view that? Because there were moments where, look, I won't say it was difficult, but they couldn't get into that rhythm again.
No, look, I think from where we've come from in that short space of time, I think he'll be happy, but he won't be completely happy, as you never are. No. There were, decisions, not always the right ones, and a lot to work on. But isn't it nice to be able to talk about that when you win 3-0?
Correct. You just do what you have to do. A lot of people have got to realise as well.
It's a tournament.
Well, no, it's not only that. I just saw some people on social media saying, we should have went through them second half. Look, football doesn't work like that, especially at the professional level. Yeah, when you're a full-time professional footballer and you've just suffered a defeat that you basically shocked the whole of Asia against Jordan. And like Brucey said before, first half was really good. The confidence is back. You just do what you need to do. That's all you need to do. You just got to make sure you don't get sloppy. I can't remember Matt Ryan having to make a save. And look, if there was anyone that was going to score, you just saw that Ryan Grant hit the post. You just do what you have to do to get the win. On to the next game now. Don't be looking too far ahead. On to the next game now, and let's make sure we don't get beat. That's all.
Let's hear from one of the goal scorers. Scored his first goal for his country, Jamie McLaren with Daniel Garb.
Well, Jamie, I hope you haven't given away the shirt. You scored your first goal then. Congratulations. You waited for that one a long time. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, and I've just stayed on my path. I know I'm a goal scorer, and it was going to come one way or another. And, many people say I can't head the ball, but today I showed them.
After the week you've had, how relieving is that victory for the team?
Yeah, look, it's not that relieving, only because we knew what we have to do today and win the game. And straight from the start, we scored 2 early goals, and that really settles us. So it's a great win by the boys, and a clean sheet helps.
You got the shirt, or is it gone?
I swapped at half-time, so the shirt...
Jamie, what are you doing?
Shirt's inside, mate, don't worry.
Well done.
Thank you, cheers, mate, thanks.
They get 2. When they get a bit shvetty, they get the other one on, and they get to keep one and give one away, which he did.
I remember swapping one after an international night to go and get it back. It's a true story. Can't swap shirts, got to get it back.
Tom Rogic, his performance, Robbie, sum it up.
Very good in the first half. Like the whole team, professional in the second half, and wise to take him off. He'd had a yellow card. So much better than the first game where obviously a lot of focus is, and Tommy's the main man. You know, so a lot of the focus is going to be on him.
Is that fair?
Of course
it's fair.
He's the top man. But I thought...
Moyes out.
Yeah, I thought tonight he was exceptional. I think with the exception of Economides, I thought he was the second best player on the park. And once again, like I said, just did enough. Just did exactly what he needed to do, and now we can slowly build it up.
What do you think of Tom Rogic?
I thought it was very good. I think, you know, you've got to take it in context. The first performance, he'll be the first to admit, was exceptionally poor. And this one wasn't a world-beating performance, but a very good one, something we're more accustomed to seeing, something we're more used to seeing, and sort of our expectations of a player of that calibre. So, look, a confidence boost, and it's a slow burn, like we were mentioning before. It's a tournament. You don't want to see them play their best game now against Palestine in the second game of the tournament. So, build on from here, and hopefully they can go on with it.
Let's hear from a man who's been carving up the A-League, and he went all right in an Australian shirt tonight. Chris Economides with Garvey.
Chris, to come in a game like this and start and make such a big impression, what does that mean to you?
No, obviously it means the world to me, representing my country. Every game is important because, you know, you earn your right to wear this jersey, and you just want to leave everything on the pitch.
Talk us through the intent from the team. Was there much said during the week or before the game that led to a much improved start like that?
Oh, you know, we stuck to our tactics throughout the week, throughout the tournament. It's only a new era here under Arnie, and we're really finding our feet now. We're a young front line up there today, and I think it showed in our fluency up front and our diversity in interchanging each position. So I think we're just getting started. Exciting times ahead.
Thanks, Chris. Well done.
Thank you very much.
So let's have a look at the Group B standings. And Australia can't finish top. They can finish second. Mr. Abacus, Mark Bosnich, take us through it.
Well, basically, like we said before, it's head-to-head. That's what it goes off first, so that's why we cannot finish first. Then if we avoid defeat against Syria, we will finish second. If we are defeated to Syria, there's a good chance that we will go out, because then we'll have to come down to the four best third-place teams. Now, the third-place best teams will be ranked on their record against the first two in their own group. So that would render us pretty much impossible to qualify, because we would have lost to Jordan and to Syria. Did you get that? Did you like that?
Wait a sec. What page was that on? Yeah. That was very good, Mark. I thought that was very, very good.
Thanks, Robert. Thanks, Bruce.
I'm still slightly confused, but...
Well, you always are.
Yeah, it's very true.
If we finish runner-up in the group, don't mind them, if we finish runner-up in the group, we will play the runner-up from Japan's group, Group F, which contains Oman, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. We are off to a short break here from the Asian Cup 2019. Plenty more on the other side of this. We'll continue to deliberate the Socceroos' win over Palestine and look ahead to a really exciting contest coming up in about half an hour's time between Philippines and China. Keep it locked on 505. We're back in a moment.
It's one of the great Ole goals. What a goal!
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
The Hyundai A-League on Fox Sports. Oh my goodness.
Join Bet365 and discover the power of the world's favorite online betting company. Instant match updates, in-depth analysis, live streaming. The Bet365 app is so advanced, it will blow your mind.
Gamble responsibly.
Do you ever feel like your search for a hotel is just going round and round, getting you nowhere?
Tell me about it.
Well, not on Trivago. On Trivago, finding your ideal hotel couldn't be easier. Destination, filter, and search. Trivago compares hundreds of websites worldwide to match your search criteria. So little Snuffles here, she can have a well-earned rest. Hotel Trivago.
Harvey Norman massive half-yearly clearance on now with 60 months interest-free store-wide. That's no deposit, no interest with 60 equal monthly payments until January 2024. Hurry in for huge deals across all categories at Harvey Norman. Big brands, big savings, the latest technology, the hottest trends, plus 60 months interest-free. Be quick for the bargains in-store and online. Harvey Norman massive half-yearly clearance with a massive 60 months interest-free. On now, do not miss out.
Hey guys. How you going? What are you doing here? Just scoop away. What do you reckon? It's a one size fits all. Right, let's go try these out. Let's do it.
However you show your support, make sure you're there when Australia goes head-to-head with India in the Gillette ODI series this January. Book at cricket.com.au/tickets.
I love this country. What's left of it.
Express from cinema.
This is the final order to vacate. No!
A visionary telling of Ireland's darkest year.
Open fire!
The English cannot be forgiven.
Starring Australia's James Freshfield.
Where will my family get their justice?
And Hugo Weaving.
I won't be leaving here without you. Then you won't leave at all.
Black 47. Express from cinema. Rent it now in Foxtel store.
Please welcome Gordon, Fletch and Hindy.
9 weeks to go. Just 9 weeks to go.
Most people love summer, Bonnie.
Do they really?
Asian Cup remix back from the break. Welcome back. Australia 3, Palestine 0. Settling things, settling nerves, which were a little bit, on the edge after the first match against Jordan. Awa Mabil on the score sheet. So too Jamie McLaren for his first goal for the Socceroos, and Apo Gianu came off the bench and got a goal for himself as well. Welcome back to the studio. Adam Peacock alongside Bruce Gite, Robbie Slater and Mark Bosnich. Gents, the Syrian performance against Jordan, does that give us a little bit of hope or what? Because they got beaten 2-0. Was there a great disparity between these two sides? Give us a match report looking ahead to the final group game, boss.
I mean, Bruce watched the game as well. I don't think there was a great disparity between the two sides, but Jordan right now are riding on that wave of confidence that they received from beating Australia. I thought they were the better side. And Syria obviously have got problems. Obviously after the match we've heard that they've sacked their manager, and they're going to take up the manager that was the manager in the World Cup playoffs, ironically, against Australia not so long back. But there you go again, scoring from a set play, and it just goes to show how important confidence is. I wonder if this side would have been so exuberant had they lost that first game to Australia quite heavily. I don't think they would have been, but fair play to them, and well done, because they're the first team into the knockout stages.
Yeah. Syria did have their chances in that game, though, didn't they? They had more possession than Jordan, but Jordan always looked more likely.
Jordan looked more likely. Al Tamari, their number 18, the attacker there, was running rings around them. And look, Syria will be down, but one of the fantastic things about having the best-ranked third-place teams going through
gives them a chance.
That games are still live.
Yeah,
games are still live.
So.
It's a very live game. We could still get knocked out, and Syria could still go through.
What do you make of the crossover now? We brought it up pre-tournament that if Japan finished top, we finished top.
Yeah.
We meet it in the quarterfinals. Now we can't. Unless Japan finish second in their group, we play in the round of 16 game.
I don't think it's important to start thinking too far ahead in these tournaments. And I don't think if you are one of the favourites, which we are, we wouldn't be, I would say, the favourite, or wouldn't be probably in the top 4. But after that, I think you have to put us up there. You don't think about things like that. You don't worry about who you're going to meet, because if you're going to win the tournament, you've got to be willing to beat anybody.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, like I said, especially what I've heard about this tournament, everyone's going about ramifications of where we're going to go here. Just get past the first round, then let's see what's what. I think the most important thing that we should be, and we'll discuss it right now, is does Graham Arnold play Tom Rogic in that third game? Because he's on a yellow card. If he gets another yellow card, he will miss that round of 16 game. That's going to be a huge decision for him. The other one being obviously Trent Sainsbury being out.
Yeah.
Who comes in for Trent Sainsbury? Does he bring Milligan back, or does he go for Matt German to come in? Those are the really important issues, I think.
And those issues are very important, and I think we've got to go. I think it's quite obvious we're going to have to go with a very strong team, because do not forget, if Syria beat us, they're through.
So play Rogic.
Second position.
Play Rogic.
So, look, I would.
Yeah.
I would.
Brucey?
Tommy got a yellow card.
One. Very tough.
A silly yellow card. And I think Tommy's the type of player. I mean, surely he can go through a game and not get a yellow card. It's not like he's a defensive player. So it's a question of discipline from Tommy, which he lacked tonight in getting that silly one. So I would still be playing it.
Speaking of silly, I mean, Trent will look back on it, and he wasn't happy at the time. He couldn't believe he got it, but it was for time wasting, so he misses the next game. What do? You pose the question, boss. Do you put Milligan back or play Yerman?
I would bring in Yerman. I think Milligan has been such an important cog of that wheel, and especially this first half. The first half of football was the best half of football that I've seen the Socceroos play, maybe with the exception of the first 20 minutes against South Korea up in Brisbane in that friendly game. But in a competitive game under Graham Arnold, I think he's very, very important to what they do. So I would bring in Matt German. In terms of the Rogic one, I really don't know. I mean, I know what Robbie's saying too, but if he gets a yellow and misses that knockout of the round of 16, I mean, for me, I would probably have Rogic on the bench. I definitely would have had him on the bench if Sainsbury hadn't got that yellow. But I would probably still have him on the bench and just wait to see if anything's going pear-shaped, then I would bring him straight on.
Yeah, that's what I would do as well.
Yeah.
I'd have Rogic on the bench at half-time, reassess, even before half-time. You just see how the game's panning out. If you need to use him, if it's crucial, if the performance isn't what you expect from his replacement, then you bring him in.
So you put Irvine at number 10 and Luongo.
I wouldn't do that. I'd play Rogic. I'd play my best player. Like I said, Syria win, they finish second. So I think and I think that an attacking player like Rogic should be good enough to go through a game without a yellow card.
That's a good point.
I think the difficulty stems from losing that first game.
Yeah.
When you lose that first game, any of these luxuries, you really forfeit them because. Look at Jordan now. They can play their second 11. They can rest players.
Yeah, very true.
They don't need to worry about it. So it just shows the ramifications of losing that first game and just how important
I dare
it was.
say that would have been Plan A.
We're off to a short break and we look forward with trepidation and excitement all at once to the match on Tuesday night / Wednesday morning Australian time. Our pre-game on Tuesday night on 5:05, but that's a long way away. There's Ian Ramsey, former teammate of Bruce Gite in Adelaide, Philippines, who he plays for now. Coming up, crucial match in Group C against China. We're back in a moment with a short preview.